Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club. We're here with something a little bit new, something fresh, off the press, just for you. Your new Sunday evening racing series is going to be in the Volkswagen Beetles, the Group 3 machines, and it is called the VDUB Enduro Cup. This is a one-make series using the Group 3 VW Beetle, racing for 8 rounds. Each round will consist of a 15-minute qualifying session and a 60-minute endurance race. Tyre wear and fuel consumption will play a big part in each round, so car management and a great strategy will be needed in this fast and frantic championship. Championship points are awarded for finishing positions, fastest lap time and pole position. Every entry will drop one of their lowest scoring rounds points. Racing soft and racing medium tyres are available, but the event is free choice, so they can use either racing softs or racing mediums if they're fancying the long run, but we'll see. The format of the race is at 8 o'clock this evening. A 15-minute qualifying session will begin, and that will be followed by a 60-minute endurance race. Now we have the fuel on at times 5 and tyre wear times 5. And the way this works, the fuel should run out before the tyres are even close. So these guys, they've got to manage that fuel. They really, if they're clever, I mean, if they just put their pedal to the metal and go all out, they're going to need to make a lot of pit stops. And pit stops cost time here at the GT Sport. So they've got to be clever, and hopefully this will be a good way to slow those fast boys down a little bit and level out that playing field. The aliens cannot just zoom off into the distance. We should have a full house. Skyjacker saying evening flower, hello honey. And Turtle Racing saying good evening. He's entered, but he's at work this evening, so there'll be no turtle. There'll be no turtle in a Beetle. Binko saying evening sunshine. Feels weird watching on a Sunday, then participating, but never mind. Good luck, guys. And Racer Brown saying good evening, my G. Hello, my G too. Whoa. I was going to go all gangster on you, but I just can't. So Electric's got a lovely. I've got to get used to these liveries as well. This is the first time I'm seeing the liveries. So car 95 out there, Electric in a lovely green and a yellow combo. It looks rather dashing, doesn't it? Just. We've got these cars, we've taken the bop away, because I feel like, and I tested the Beetle with the bop on and took it off, so it's just 100, 100, and the cars handle really nicely with just the normal 100, 100. The bop, I think it adds a bit more weight and takes some power away, and the cars just feel a little bit twitchy. They're not as much fun to drive, so hopefully these guys out there will be getting a new appreciation for the Group 3 Beetle. We've got Daz there in a Liqui Moly sponsored Beetle. It looks rather dashing. I do like the way these cars look, I must say. I am a big fan of the newer model Beetle, the reincarnation of the Volkswagen Beetle. It still holds some of the fun of its old 60s counterpart, but it's just got a bit of an edge to it. It's got a little edge. And there we see Jokus in a rock star liveried Beetle. JOO, ooh, nice. So yeah, like I said, the tyres will last quite well, but their fuel, I think, is going to run out fast if they push too hard. So if they're clever, they're gonna manage that fuel. They're going to sit in the slipstream of the cars in front, try and manage that fuel. And I don't think we can see the aliens running away with it. Sharon, oh hello, that's hippy dippy. Peace and love, man, peace and love. The NTV generation Beetle there, buzzing around. And it looks rather nice for the Russian sensation. We've got 6 minutes until qualifying. I've got no table to read you, really. This is all the information. Skyjacker in his green and black that we often see him in now. He is full-on sponsored by Monster. I think he gets a free can a month to carry their livery. And look, we got Koi Carp in a VRC livery, the Virtual Racers Club's livery. That looks very nice indeed in car 23. His return from a long sabbatical of racing. And he's back with a bang, we hope. We're racing at Lago Maggiore. Did I even tell you that? At round 1 here, we're at Lago Maggiore. And I can tell you some information about the track. It's a fantasy track in based in Italy for the exclusive to GT Sports. They're the ones that designed it, so it is all of theirs. And it is a 3.6 mile track with 17 turns. And the time of day these boys will be racing is at 6:15 in game. So Koi Carp out there. Recently the runner-up in the 1v1 tournament at the Virtual Racers Club, which isn't bad at all. And yes, off the back of that, he's here with us on a Sunday evening, showing his mettle against some of the best. We've seen Uncle B. Darren. Oh, he's just disappeared. There he goes. Ooh. He's just put it up into 3rd place in a very nice looking car there. Now we were going to run a little bet to see how many Herbies we should have turned up. He has got Herbie on the side of his car. He has got like a pink Herbie style livery going on there, but still no Herbies. Good job we didn't bet. There is Catula in a Red Bull Beetle, looking very flash. Very flash indeed. Nice. And I'm loving this. I'm loving these cars so far. I can't wait to see them in action, to tell you the truth. Digital Blasphemy is a DB4M liveried get-up that we saw him in the, I think, Porsche. He was racing something with that style livery. It looked very nice. But Digital Blasphemy, he's very good strategist. Is Digital Blasphemy, so I'm thinking we're going to see good stuff from him. Also Skyjacker and JOO, we've seen him in out and out pace, but can he look after that fuel, as is Matt Psycho in a very nice looking car there. We know he's very fast, but can he also look after his fuel? Can he manage his car to come up with a very interesting strategy? Like I said, this should be a great leveler for the cars out there, between the guys that are not quite on the pace to the guys that are absolutely like Racer Brown, blindingly fast. But can he do the strategy as well? Now Skyjacker is asking if we're ready. He wants to get underway. He's as excited as I am over this new championship. I will reply to his readiness. Here we go. We've got a little car park there. Car 86 and car 16, I believe, giving it a practice start. It's a nice looking car there from Racer Brown. And yeah, this is going to be very exciting, I think. Very exciting. We've got Cthulhu going around at the moment. I don't know how long that fuel lasts for, but we'll find out come the race, I guess. Trying to find someone who's on a bit of a jaunt in car so we can see the track. He's around halfway through. There you go, you see this car there. It's like off a shovel. Coming up to the very fast hairpin, the right hand hairpin, up to 170 miles an hour. Heavy on the brakes, whipping it to the right. Slides a little bit mid-corner, but he's got it under control. Back on that accelerator, going up the hill, up to 120 odd miles an hour. qualifying has been started. And now we will see. Now we will see. This first 15 minutes is about all-out pace. Who is the fastest? And in the chat, we've got Race Brad saying lol to my gangster. And Pat saying Heidi hi. Talaran saying yes, yes, yes. He's been looking forward to this as well. We've all been very intrigued by this this championship. We're looking forward to it. Bit of Group 3s. Oh, there's a glitch already. That's a shame. There we go. We've got Shiren stuck. It's that bloody Russian internet again. And Pat in the chat saying, I've got a couple of car designs in this series, so I'm supporting Darren and Rido tonight. I haven't seen... Oh, yeah, Rido. I haven't seen Rido's yet. There he is. In a Red Bull also. So we've got 2 Red Bull sponsored cars out there. And Shiren's left the room. I don't know if Skyjacker has seen anything. He hasn't said exit to anyone yet. Oh, there you go. And Skyjacker now telling the room to exit. Pat saying, I did make Darren's car in the Herbie colours as well, just to see what it looked like. I was asked for pink, so that's what I did. Yes. Well, it would not be Uncle Darren if he's not in the pink pig. Come on. That's his signature. We love it. So, we're waiting for the guys all to quit out, so qualifying can be done with and restarted. There's a couple just not quite getting it yet. Well, they must have done because I'm not going around the cars here. And there they go. I'm the only one left. I better red X, I know. There we go. I exit as well. And they will all... we'll have a quick look at the members list. I don't know if we'll see anything because they're not entered yet. But there you go. Koi Carp, you can see. Oh, I don't know. Everyone's quitting out altogether, is it? So there we see. Racer Brower, a couple of these. So there's 591 brake horsepower. That's quite a hefty speed of car with 1,200 kilograms of weight behind them. I don't think we'll see many racing medium tyres. Oh, the host has actually ended the game. So, interesting stuff indeed. And I don't know if anyone's having a bit of a practice room we can drop in on. No, not really. No VRC boys having a practice in anything. Doesn't take long for the room to come back up again. I did clear my cache beforehand, but I can always clear it again. You never know. Might help. There we go. That's how easy it is for you guys out there. If you ever wonder if there's any little glitches of such types. And we'll head back into the lobbies to find out if the lobby's back open again. There it is. It is. Ooh, it is low on the old markings, isn't it? And that's unusual for Skyjacker. He's usually got full beams going on his rooms. That's why he's one of the best to get to host these things. Oh, look, there is a VDUB. Nearly got in. And someone did ask for a... I think it was Ranger, but Ranger's not feeling very well. But because I've changed over to the PS5, that livery is not available to me anymore. It's stuck on the car, luckily, but it's not. I don't have it to share, unfortunately. So Skyjacker asking them to enter. Fourth right, quite quick, lickety split, so we can get on with these things. Hopefully that'll clear any issues. See, he's okay in practices, is Shiren. It's because his car's too loud. That's why. It's too bright. It's not letting him race. There's a racer. Is that Racer Brown? I thought his car was white. He's parked up somewhere, isn't he? There he is. Oh, he's gone. Odd. There he is. He's got a new stealth mode on his Beetle. And there, I love the size of the wheels on these cars. They just look huge. Look at them. Got some rims, bro. Got some rims on that bad boy. So we've got some very fast drivers in this group. It's going to be a very hard-fought season, I believe. And Jay saying me and this Beetle sketchy relationship. He's saying sketchy. He's not on terms with the Beetle just yet. It's got a mind of its own. And Mama Sykes is here saying hello everyone. Hi Thingy. Have a great race, guys. I'm sure they will. And the qualifying has been started, so everyone must be here. What did we have? 12 people. Yes, because there was one or two just could not make it. Ranger not feeling very well. And I can't remember who else they did say beforehand. So Skyjacker making his way out onto the track. Hopefully we have no issues this time around. I'll try and look in the pit lane. They all seem to be coming out very close together. Koikast made it out. Digital Blasphemy on his way out. Uncle B Darren looks okay. Shiren's not moved yet, which is a concern. Rido on his way out. And I'm not sure Shiren's scared to press the button, or he's giving himself a lot of space. Or maybe he's going to decide to sit out qualifying. Got 15 minutes around here at Lago Maggiore. And there is Skyjacker making his way around. Racer Brown not too far behind him. They can give themselves quite a bit of space in quali. It's quite a long track. But I imagine Racer Brown has a lot of trust in Skyjacker. He's probably quite comfortable following him. And he might be able to just ease a toe. And Shiren has left the room. So Shiren having very big internet problems at the moment. And that is unfortunate for us not to see the Russian sensation. I am Bobber in the chat saying hello lads, I'm looking forward to this, good luck. So we all are. I am looking forward to just the strategies. I have no idea how these guys are going to play it. I mean, they could just absolutely floor it. Oh, and Electric's only just joined the room. I imagine them guys will go to the back of the pack. But like I said, after a 60-minute race, being on pole is advantageous. Obviously you can get away. Now I in my mind, I think if I was racing, I would be of the mind that I would be flooring my first stint, absolutely burning through that fuel, and just to get a good track position, and then after my first pit stop, trying to eke out the fuel for as long as possible, turning the engine down, trying to sit in slipstreams, try and short shift, try and make the fuel last for as late in the race as I possibly could. I wouldn't want to make a second pit stop too soon and hope the guys around me just absolutely burn through their fuel, because a pit stop's going to cost at minimum 20 seconds, 30 seconds. It is quite a short pit lane here. Electric has left the room. We'll see what's going to happen. So Skyjacker making his way around. Binko saying from the testing I did, I could make the fuel last as long as the tyres, and managed 2 stops. There you go. Yes, and we heard someone else tested with just going out and out speed, and they had to make 4 pit stops. So it is doable. And at the moment Skyjacker is first on track. He's going to be the man who lays down the first lap time. Racer Brown next. Katula is also out there. Daz. I do like Daz's livery. He's grabbing me that liquid molly. I don't know how to say it. Because it's nearly liquid without the D. Liquid molly. The Rockstar looks awesome as well. That's very good stuff. There is Matt Psycho. He's a very nice looking Peroni. Little Peroni to tipple your glass. He's very clever with that 16 on his bonnet, because the bonnet livery and the side bonnet are 2 totally different things. So they're setting times now. Racer Brown 6/10 ahead of Skyjacker. Katula 3rd fastest. Joker's 4th. No, Matt Psycho's just slipped it in. No. Who's just gone? JOO Pace has gone second fastest. So far, Racer Brown is at the top of the pile with a 151.749. JOO only just under 2/10 behind him. Skyjacker is nearly half a second off of second place. Catula fourth. He's very close time to Skyjacker there. Matt Psycho also very close time to those guys. Uncle B Darren sixth fastest so far. Jokus seventh. Daz is eighth, but he's had an off, so he's not going to do better this lap. Koikarp ninth fastest. Rido in 10th. Digital Blasphemy surprisingly down in 11th. He hasn't done his fast time yet, you see. So Digital Blasphemy still yet to set a time. He's just coming around the back end of the track. Coming around that final corner. And these corners are long and sweeping. They're fun corners here at Lago Maggiore. GT Sport did a very good job in designing this track. And he crosses the line and goes third fastest so far. So the grid is starting to take shape before we have our 60-minute endurance race around here with Racer Brown at the top. JOO though not too far behind. And he's very close to a car ahead of him. That's Matt Psycho. It doesn't look like Jay's backing off. And he's not going to be able to overtake in qualifying. They're not meant to. So he's going to have to back off at some point. Maybe not this lap. Maybe next lap he'll give that one up. Jokus has gone. Jay's gone fastest. And Matt Psycho also going faster. Going third fastest. Uncle B Darren's put it up into fourth fastest now. This is very good. Very interesting stuff. These times are very tight. With JOO 3/10 ahead of Racer Brown's time. Matt Psycho in third place, and it really doesn't look like Jay who wants to back off out of this lap. Is that Matt Psycho pulling over to let him through? Looks like he didn't want that red car all over in his wing mirrors, I imagine. With Uncle B Darren fourth fastest, Digital Blasphemy fifth fastest, but he's about half a lap behind everyone else. He's giving himself some extra space to do some running in. He's only 700ths off of Uncle B Darren's time as he comes around the final part of the track. And Skyjacker's down in 6th, Catula 7th, Jokus in 8th. Electric's joined again. And here comes Digital Blasphemy to cross the line. Does he go any faster? No, he does not. Stays in 5th ahead of Skyjacker. Skyjacker, he's just making his way around the final part of the track. Has he found anything extra? We've still got 7.5 minutes left to go. The fuel is always falling for these guys, so the cars will be getting lighter. They should get faster as the time goes on, and Skyjacker does go faster. 4th fastest now for Skyjacker. Catula also going faster in 5th. Oh, sorry, in 5th. So he's gone ahead of Uncle B Darren. And Electric must be absolutely irritating him. Keeps joining and leaving. I think he's having internet struggles there. I think he runs off of his phone. He has to. His internet's not too hot, so he tries to run off of his phone data. And sometimes that does not work for him. In the chat, Shuren saying restarting everything. Hope to be back for the race. Fingers crossed for you, Shuren. I'm rooting for you. Daz has gone faster. He's in 10th at the moment, with Koi being in 11th, only a 10th behind him, and they're only a 10th behind Rido, so it's tight pickings down there in 9th, 10th and 11th. Joker's doing very well at the moment. He's only 3/10 off of Digital Blasphemy. But Jay, I mean, he's going hell for leather. Like you can see, he's up again on his own time. He's getting purples. But I don't think he's going to be able to pull this off in the race. Slides in that corner. Beautiful slide. Controlled slide in the fast hairpin. Digital Blasphemy has gone second fastest. So Digital Blasphemy finding some pace in his Beetle at this point. Doing a super job. It looks like he's backed off for this lap. Or maybe not. Maybe that's just the speed of that corner. JOO. Although JOO's fuel isn't too bad next to Digital Blasphemy. Digital Blasphemy's burnt through quite a bit of fuel there. But it's going to be interesting stuff. Cthulhu going faster in 5th. And there's Jay trying to get a toe off of Joe, because he really hasn't read the rules about no overtaking in qualifying. There he goes. He has backed off now. Sorry, Jay. I was jumping to conclusions. So Jay giving himself a bit of space from Jokus there. Digital Blasphemy, second fastest. Racer Brown. And it looks like Matt Psycho coming in just to top up with a bit of fuel for the end of qualifying. We've still got just under 5 minutes left to go. That might be a wise move there. Just a little top up. And he's backing out just because he doesn't want to get in anyone's way. In quali. JOO absolutely pushing the limits to that Beetle. Digital Blasphemy doing a very good job also. Racer Brown, the next fastest, in 3rd. Matt Psycho went in just to top up with a little bit of fuel. He might get a nice empty track when everyone else does. Skyjacker also going in for a little top up. Maybe these cars, when they get a bit light, they feel a bit insecure, and oh, Cthulhu having a huge one there into the barrier. Luckily the damage is only on light, so he just wants to get out of the way there. Digital Blasphemy also coming in for a top up. So you can see just 11 minutes in qualifying. If they're pushing full hilt, the fuel will not last for them. JOO, the man on pole at the moment. Digital Blasphemy in for a top up. Racer Brown, he's also going to come in for a slight top up. Matt Psycho, he's on an outlap now, building up to a very fast lap. We'll get on board with Mr. Psycho, because I've got a feeling this one's going to be a run for the pole with 3.5 minutes left to go. He's building up. I'm just downing my warm beverage, getting ready, and we'll sit on board with Mr. Psycho for this qualifying run on the racing soft tyres. And I don't know why electric keeps coming and going, but there we go. So heading down to the first corner, heavy onto the brakes, down into 2nd gear, getting a nice turn in there as he can. Then it's a tight left. It's a lovely section of corners, tight right, tight left, and then they're coming up. It's a semi-fast right-hander, just a slight lift. Let the car drag it around. This one you will need the brakes. The corner on the left, and then it drops away from you. The track drops away. And then we're coming, building up speed, and we've got a very long corner here, very long. It comes back on itself, but you can carry speed into it, brake halfway in the middle, get through that apex, let the car drag to the outside, then back onto the accelerator again, building up 5th, then down to 4th as we go through the left-right combo, left again, always building up pace to go under the bridge, trying to get round, try and take as much speed into this as you can, because it's a long straight up the hill. He's done a fantastic job there. He's only a 10th off of his fastest time, heading down to the very fast hairpin, heavy on the brakes there in at the 50 marker board. Let the car drive around the apex onto the curb, heavy onto the accelerator again, moving up the hill, swinging to the left, then to the right, carrying as much speed through that section as you possibly can, and he's up on his own time. Is it enough though? He's going around the right-hander and then another right-hander, and then the car swinging it to the left. Then we've got the downhill left turn, the final corner, and you have to kill the speed somewhat or you end up very wide coming out of this corner, but he's done a beautiful job there, and he's heading towards the line, and what can he do? He goes faster. Oh yes, slipping to 4th place there for Matt Psycho, a 10th ahead of Cthulhu and only a 10th off of Racer Brown's time. Uncle B Darren also setting a new time there, going 6th fastest. And that was a lap of Lago Maggiore. And it was good enough for 4th fastest. We're coming up to 30 seconds left in this race. JOO at the moment still on pole position. Has he got enough fuel to do another run? Skyjacker's gone faster as well, up into 4th for Skyjacker. He's just toppled Matt Psycho. So interesting times coming through here with JOO pace in pole position. Digital Blasphemy holding on to that 2nd spot at the moment. He's only 300ths ahead of Racer Brown. Is there any more in Racer Brown? We've only got 10 seconds left of qualifying. Uncle P Darren's parked it into the pits. He's there pushing. He's got purples. Racer Brown is getting the purple in nearly the last sector. Can he do it? He's sitting in 3rd at the moment. He's on low fuel. Heading around the final corners to try and get pole position away from JOO pace. And can he do it? He's on to the start straight now. He's pushing the Beetle with all he can, and he does. Oh my word, right there at the dead. Unbelievable stuff from Racer Brown. JOO still on a run though. Has he got any more in his car to be able to come back at Racer Brown? And this is tight stuff here as he comes around. No, he doesn't look. He got a wheel on. No, he's not going faster there. He's off the accelerator. Digital Blasphemy in 3rd. Skyjacker, he's still on a run. He's a 10th down on his own time though. Can he gain anything back in his final run? Skyjacker in 4th. Matt Psycho 5th. Catula is in 6th. Uncle B Darren 7th. Jokus in 8th place. And he's just got the smallest amount of fuel on board for the Monster Beetle as he heads towards the line. Did he gain anything in that last sector? Would the weight help him? No, he did not. So he starts in 4th. Matt Psycho starts in 5th place. Catula in 6th. Uncle B Darren starting in 7th. Jokus will start in 8th place. Koikarp will start in 9th. With Rido in 10th. And Daz in 11th place. Daz only just off 2/10. But remember, it's not about speed this championship, it's about looking after that fuel. So the speedy part is over, but this is really all about car management. It's an endurance race, it's not a sprint. We're waiting for the timer to count down now, and we can have a good look, slow look. So Racer Brown, a fantastic job right at the very end there to grab pole position by 3/10 from JOO in the end. JOO, the pole sitter for a majority of that 15 minutes. And he's found that he's now in 2nd place, or starting 2nd place, should I say. Digital Blasphemy did a brilliant job to grab 3rd fastest in that qualifying session. 4th for Skyjacker. Beautiful stuff. And Rido in the chat saying, what a lap by RB. Yeah, it was. He is alien-esque, but he can't, he's going to struggle with trying to go that fast in the race. Matt Psycho grabbing 5th in the end, and the qualifying is over. That's what the grid looks like as we head into this race. I don't know if Skyjacker's going to ask everyone to exit, if Sharen's in the room hoping to get in. And Rido saying also evening all. Hello Rido. Hope all is well. So they're lined up, but I think Sharen might be in the room wanting to join the race. So I don't know if they'll all be told to exit. And then Skyjacker will have to reset the grid. Yes, there he goes. Skyjacker asking all competitors to exit as they all disappear, and very tidy. No one's had a practice start, really. So they all exit, so Skyjacker can now reset that grid. Uncle B probably didn't see the exit bit. Got to press the red X Mr. B. Come on, Uncle. You know the score. And there you go. Now he has. He obviously missed it the first time around. So everyone will be asked to re-enter. And Skyjacker will reset the grid. And this is why I'm not doing the hosting, because you don't want to see all this business. And this is going to be a very exciting then. Skyjacker asking to enter ASAP so we can get things underway. I can go to the track because there's a few entered now. I'm going around doing a bit of practicing before the grid is set. And Skyjacker now will be setting up the grid, ready for a 60-minute race around here at Lago Maggiore for round one of the VDUB Bug Enduro Cup. I'm trying to get that so I can say it really quick. VDUB Bug Enduro Cup. Like a limerick. So Jay nearly got the pole position there. Racer Brown gazumped him right near the end. Digital Blasphemy did a fantastic job up there in third. Skyjacker only just getting ahead of Mr. Psycho. But I think Matt Psycho is one to watch in this race. He has a good feeling for the Group 3 cars. Skyjacker has openly said the Group 3 cars are his kryptonite. That is the grid before going ahead. It looks like Electric could not get in the room in the end, which is a real shame. Hopefully his internet will be sorted out soon. He does say he's going to try and sort something out. So we're looking at the grid with 60 minutes on the clock, ready to go for 1 hour of absolute classic racing. And Racer Brown gets away well, and oh my lord, what's gone on there? It looks like who was that? Someone's stuck on the grid. It looks like Shiren is stuck on the grid. Oh, Shiren, it's not happening for him tonight, but Racer Brown pulls away quite nicely with Jay following him around. Digital Blasphemy. Then we've got Skyjacker and Matt Psycho. Katula is in 6th place. Uncle B Darren in 7th. Then Daz in 8th. Daz has had a cracking start. He started from the back and he's moved right up. There is Koikap in 9th. Rido in 10th. Jokers dropping back into 11th. Shiren not moving. And Racer Brown 4/10 ahead of Jay. And they can't push too hard. They can't push for that fuel. Oh my God, Shiren, poor Shiren. He's left the room. But Racer Brown at the moment. And it's all down to fuel management now. Unless they want to do 100 pit stops. Oh, Matt Psycho's had a bit of an off. Matt Psycho's having a bit of an off. He's dropped behind Katula. Oh my word. So Katula moving up into 5th place. And Matt Psycho trying to get himself back into the rhythm of this race. As Uncle B down there in 7th. And he's getting overtaken there by Koikap. And like I said, we don't know if they're leaning out their engines or how they're running their racers. And Katula's had an off as well. Katula's had a big off. Oh my word, these Beetles. I thought they were quite planted, but they're having a few issues there. Jokers coming up the hill, getting himself ahead of the Spaniard. Unbelievable stuff. And oh, JOO has got the lead. JOO's taken the lead from Racer Brown. We're trying to look, and it looks like Racer Brown short shifted a little bit there. So maybe Jay has opted to try and just burn that fuel early doors and try and run away from the crowd. Racer Brown sticking in his toe. And then we have Digital Blasphemy in 3rd with Skyjacker in 4th place. Matt Psycho back up into 5th place, 2.4 seconds behind Skyjacker. A long race though, it's a very long race. Koikap up into 6th ahead of Uncle B. Uncle B doesn't look like he's short shifting too much. He's got Daz close behind him. Daz looking for an opportunity in this race. It's a lovely looking dashboard in the Beetle. Daz right on the tail of Uncle B at the moment. He's only a second and a half ahead of Rido, and Daz making a move around the outside of Uncle B. And here we go. This is where the strategies all play a part, and we'll see some very interesting stuff going on. Jay already 7/10 ahead of Racer Brown. We'll have to keep an eye on their fuels. Digital Blasphemy, I'd say he's one of the best at strategies. We've seen him in some races doing some very clever things. He loves a one-stop in some of the other championships we run. So I'd say Digital Blasphemy is a man to watch in this race. Skyjacker again, he's very wily with his race strategies. He says he blags it. He doesn't know what he's going to do until he starts the race, but he seems to come up with the goods. Then we have Matt Psycho, only 2 seconds behind Skyjacker at the moment, chasing him down. And they're only just finishing the second lap. Like I said, quite a long lap here at Lago Maggiore. Koikap doing very fine in 6th place. Ahead of Daz, who we saw just getting past. Oh, and Rido's got himself past Uncle B. Uncle B playing very, very safe with that fuel. He is as well. He's got a lot more fuel on board than Rido. Rido just absolutely burning through it like it doesn't matter. And we've got some guys out there saving fuel. We've got some guys out there just chugging through it. JOO down to 3/4 of a tank, as is Racer Brown. Digital Blasphemy also on 3/4 of a tank. Skyjacker in 4th, just under 3/4 of a tank. We've got Matt Psycho, just under 3/4 of a tank. Koikap, he's looking after his fuel quite well at the moment as well. Daz is burning through it. He's somewhere halfway between half a tank and 3/4. Rido, he's nearly on half a tank already. Uncle B Darren, Uncle B Darren looks to be doing the best with his fuel at the moment, but 14 seconds behind the leader. Well, this is the thing. You don't want to drop. Well, you see, it's a tough one to call, because if they're pitting more, and there we go, and Racer Brown's decided to come back and retake the lead of this race, unless Jay thinks he's burning through his fuel a little bit too much and would like to sit behind a car and let that car do the work for him. And there's so many questions. From my point of view, as a commentator, it's really hard to know what is what. I don't know what strategies these guys are playing until it all comes together at the end. And these two, at this point, you really don't know what they're thinking. They're doing well with their fuel, I'd say. Well, I don't know, because we're only 5.5 minutes into the race. And they're chugging through that fuel. As is Digital Blasphemy, this is going to be a very intriguing show. Skyjacker, he's used a little bit more up than the guys ahead of him. And wanting to back out of it, but Matt Psycho closing in on him. We'll get on board with Mr. Psycho, who's chasing down Skyjacker for 4th place. And you can see there he's not wanting to screen the car out, short shifting. He's been very clever, trying to look after his fuel. The tyres will last longer than the fuel in these settings, so it's all very interesting stuff. He's got a lovely little gap behind him to Koikap. Koikap in 6th, some 5.2 seconds behind. And it looks like Matt Psycho's maintaining that 1.2 seconds to Skyjacker. I imagine he'd want to eke a little bit closer to Skyjacker and try and just grab a bit of a toe from him to save his own fuel, so he doesn't have to push so hard. Racer Brown still leading from JOO with Digital Blasphemy in 3rd. You can see them all on track. They're not running away from each other too much. Matt Psycho in 5th, only 5 seconds away from the leaders. And Matt Psycho is getting onto a half a tank or at this point in the race. And we're 7 minutes in of this 60-minute race. Racer Brown there, he's on half a tank of fuel as well. He's pulled away a little bit from JOO. JOO, I think, is backing out of this quite a lot. to try and save a bit of fuel. Get a lap or two on the guys around him. Digital Blasphemy also on half a tank of fuel there. The top three being sensible. Skyjacker, I think he's backing out as well. Look, he did a 54.2 his last time around. He's leaned his engine out a little bit, I reckon. Try and get an extra lap or two in that car as Matt Psycho draws closer. And now the question Matt Psycho will be saying, do I go past Skyjacker or do I sit behind him and enjoy myself a little tow there from the Monster Beetle? Interesting stuff, very interesting. It's like a game of chess. It's racing chess. Got Matt Psycho there, he had a little look up the side of Skyjacker. He's very tempted. The natural thing for these guys, they're racers, so their natural instinct is to go for the gap, to get past the car ahead of them. And in endurance racing, it's not quite like that. They've got to go a long way, look after, hold position, and then at the end drop the hammer, pull the trigger, as they say. But Matt Psycho is going for the move on Skyjacker possibly thinking, oh, there's a little tap there just to say thanks. I'm going to be your tow buddy now for the next few laps and try and save a bit of fuel behind Matt Psycho. Racer Brown chugging away. He's a 1.5 seconds ahead of JOO now. He's just got the fastest lap on that lap. JOO 53.0 and a 52.3 from Racer Brown. Interesting. Digital Blasphemy looking after his fuel the best out of the top three. He is. He's doing very well indeed. Digital Blasphemy, the man to watch in this race, looking after his car. Matt Psycho, he's burning a bit of fuel there, trying to get by Skyjacker. Skyjacker's doing okay with fuel as well. Very good, very, very good. We're 10 minutes in at the moment. Koikar, he's been looking after his fuel extremely well down there in 6th place. He's 8 seconds behind those guys, but if they need an extra pit stop, that is less than what a pit stop will cost. Daz in 7th, he's on a quarter of a tank of fuel. And Rido, he's burning through his fuel quite fast. And Uncle B Darren looking after his fuel extremely well down there. He's 22.1 seconds behind the leader. But again, if they need an extra pit stop, and a pit stop's 30 odd seconds, that's all it'll take. Katula as well, doing okay with fuel. I know I'm talking about fuel a lot, but it's very important in this. Joker's burning through his fuel, but he did drop back. He's trying to catch up with the pack. But Racer Brown at the moment leading the way. In these early parts of the race, it is very much a thinking game. It's not really all about the racing. That will come later, trust me. Come the final part of this race, you'll be seeing some absolutely fast and frantic racing. But these early doors is all about car management and looking after everything. Trying to stay in a good race position, holding ground, and not wasting your fuel. So Digital Blasphemy closing up on Jay at the moment. Binko saying, I think Digital has saved more fuel due to not engine braking. There you go. So Binko watching very closely out there. And Jay has gone in. Jay has made the first pit stop, so we'll see what a pit stop will cost. He's on a quarter of a tank of fuel. You see his tyres are quite still fresh. Racer Brown moving onwards and upwards with a quarter of a tank on board. Digital Blasphemy, he's on a quarter of a tank as well, some 4.5 seconds. Daz has joined Jay in the pits. Then we have Matt Psycho now moving up into 3rd place. Just under a quarter of a tank of fuel with Skyjacker on a quarter of a tank of fuel. Very interesting. I'm very excited about this. I know it seems very, I don't know what, nerdy about getting excited about fuel levels, but this is what the VDUB Enduro Cup, the VDUB VDUB Bug Enduro Cup is all about. It's all about car management. There is Uncle B. He's looked after his fuel. He's only 5 seconds behind Koikar. Jay's come out of the pits behind Uncle B. He didn't even fill the car right up. He's only put in a small amount of fuel, and he's lost around about 21 seconds as Jay. I mean, if he does a pit stop every 11-12 minutes, it's going to be a tough race for Jay. He's caught up and he's burning through that fuel again. He doesn't want to fuel save, does Jay? The natural instinct of these guys, like I said, is to go as fast as they possibly can, and the VDUB is not for that. VDUB is to be clever and then race it at the end there. Racer Brown, though, enough fuel to go round again. He's making that fuel go quite far for him. Going on to lap 8 now. He's got the fastest lap of the race. Car 86. The Motul sponsored Beetle doing an absolutely cracking job. Matt Psycho has come into the pits. Skyjacker staying out for another lap. And it's very, very interesting. Koikart moving on forward. He's got another lap or so in that car. Jay already up into 5th after his pit stop. Uncle B doing okay with fuel at the moment. Catula's gone in. Has Matt Psycho. Daz, can he get past those guys? He's coming around the final corner. Matt Psycho's already leaving the pits though. And Daz may jump Catula. Catula's there topping up. And Daz with that early pit stop. He also went 3/4 as well. Unless they burnt it all up in a lap. But Daz moving on. Up into 8th place now. Rido in 9th. Catula just coming out the pits ahead of Rido. Rido pitting a lap earlier. Jokus in 11th also having to make a pit stop. So interesting. Ooh, Jokus and Rido very close on track, fighting it out there. Whoa, Rido's got a bit of a slide on, and that gives Jokus the opportunity to move up into 10th place. And Rido gathers the car up, cracking stuff there. So Racer Brown, the fuel is low now. He will have to come in this lap. And so will Digital Blasphemy and Skyjacker. These three all making a pit stop. They're only 25 seconds is Racer Brown ahead of Jay. Jay's early pit stop might have helped him out, but he might have to pit more than the guys ahead of him. So Racer Brown is into the pits. Digital Blasphemy coming into the pits. Skyjacker, can he make it to the pits? That fuel is really low. He used up every single bit of his fuel there. And Jay coming around that final corner, and he might get track position here, but I think he's going to have to pit more than the guys who have pitted now. And Koikart, it looked like he disappeared into the pits also. Matt Psycho might make up a few places here as he comes around, and he doesn't get ahead of Racer Brown. Racer Brown topped right up, but he's 6 seconds now behind Jay. But Jay's only on half a tank of fuel. Racer Brown a full tank. And it's 16 minutes gone into this 60-minute race. Digital Blasphemy in 3rd place. And this is intriguing. Matt Psycho has jumped Skyjacker. Well, he was ahead of Skyjacker, but he's gained quite a few seconds on him in that round of pit stops. Interesting stuff. Skyjacker heading out. Daz making up a lot of ground with his early pit stop, but again, he's just coming up to half a tank with Catula nearly on a full tank. Koikart nearly on a full tank. Uncle B right behind Koikart in 9th place, closing up on the VRC Beetle, looking to try and get by. Really, you want to sit behind it. It depends, I suppose, how slow the car ahead of you is going and how fast you want to go. They've both come out the pits together. Jokus only 2.4 seconds behind those guys, and he's pulled away from Rido a little bit. Rido struggling after the last round of pit stops, but he's gone for that Honda style Red Bull livery, which looks absolutely delicious. But Jay at the moment 5.8 seconds on the guys behind him. And he's doing a 53.6 last time around. This time around he's doing 52.4. So he said to hell with saving fuel. He's just going to go for it and go for the pit stops, possibly. Racer Brown making his way around at the moment. He's 8 seconds ahead of Digital Blasphemy now, and Matt Psycho's drawing ever closer to Digital. Digital Blasphemy will be feeling that pressure behind, trying to save his fuel, but still not wanting to lose the position to Matt Psycho. Skyjacker in 5th, ahead of Daz. Daz only 1.7 seconds ahead of Cthulhu at this point in the race. Cthulhu closing in. He did a 53.7 his last time around. Daz doing a 55.7. So yeah, Daz is really in fuel save mode at the moment, trying to just eke out as many laps as he possibly can. One of the earlier pit stoppers was Daz, pitting on lap 6, with Cthulhu pitting on lap 7. Daz looked like he'd gone wide there in that corner, and that gives Cthulhu the opportunity to get ahead of Daz. Not quite though. Daz still maintaining that inside line from Cthulhu, and Cthulhu not being able to get through yet. He's looking one way or the other, and he's trying again. Daz looking, taking an outside line, and Cthulhu does get through in 6th, with Daz dropping down to 7th. Uncle B's got past Koikar at some point. He's up to 8th, and he's only a second behind these guys. And Koikar sitting in behind Uncle B, trying to get that slipstream, trying to save fuel. And look, there's Jay's back into the pits again. And there, Racer Brown, he's got 3/4 of a tank of fuel and retakes the lead. So Jay's really going to have to rethink his strategy here, I think. I can't say what his strategy is, because I don't know. But going absolutely hell for leather is not working for him, because the pit stops are killing him. So Racer Brown then takes the lead. Digital Blasphemy in 2nd, Matt Psycho in 3rd, Skyjacker in 4th, Jay dropping down into 5th place. He's gone for another 3/4 of a tank of fuel in that car. And well, maybe this is his strategy. Lots of pit stops. Maybe he feels he can make up that ground while everyone is fuel saving. He's 10 seconds ahead of Cthulhu at the moment. Uncle B Darren in 7th. Koikarp in 8th, but Daz has caught him right up. Daz is right there on the tail. We saw him racing with Cthulhu. Oh no, Daz has dropped behind them guys, sorry. Because he was racing Cthulhu. So Uncle B Darren and Koikarp moving ahead of Daz. Daz pitting on lap 6. And he's trying to eke his fuel out now, you see, I believe. He's just ahead of Jokus in 10th place there. Jokus, similar fuel. Oh no, we've got a yellow flag. We've got a yellow. Who was that for? Oh, Koikarp. Koikarp's had an issue. Koikarp has had an issue. He's dropped to the back of the pack. And Racer Brown still leading by nearly 9.2 seconds. Digital Blasphemy. It's got loads more fuel than Racer Brown though. And Racer Brown, I imagine he's confused with Jay's pit stops. He's probably a little bit nervous with what Jay is up to. He doesn't know whether or not to fuel save or go for it. Like I said, we're in unknown territory here with these settings, and it's a tough call for these guys. And so Racer Brown 9.6 seconds ahead of Digital Blasphemy, who's 3.3 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho on just under half a tank. Digital Blasphemy just over half a tank. Racer Brown just over half a tank. Skyjacker in 4th. He's got more fuel than the guys ahead of him. 53.7 his last time around, and he's got Jay catching him up again. Jay is just not fuel. He's decided no fuel save for him. He's just going to keep going for it and try and make up them pit stops. And it might work for him. You never know. You don't know. I don't know anyway. Cthulhu in 6th place. He's 12.9 seconds behind Jay, and he's 2 seconds ahead of Uncle B. They're on similar fuel loads at the moment. Uncle B just doing his fastest lap of the race of a 53.7. He's got Daz 4.8 seconds behind him, and we've got, Jokus was just catching up Daz, but he's had a bit of an off in his Enos Rockstar Beetle. He's got it all to do now, chasing down his fuel. His tyres are pretty mullered. I don't know if he changed his tyres in his last pit stop. I mean, they've always got that option just to leave the tyres on. They're not getting too worn out there. Rido in 10th place, 3.3 seconds behind Jokas, 1.7 seconds ahead of Koikar, but Rido's gonna have to pit. Rido is low on fuel and will have to pit at the end of this lap. Racer Brown, meanwhile, running a great race at the moment. We're already 23 minutes into this race. He's got 10-second lead on Digital Blasphemy. Digital Blasphemy, though, similar fuel loads. He's doing a 54.1 to Racer Brown's 52.9. And it looks like Racer Brown has got himself into the groove here, looking after his fuel, getting good lap times. Digital Blasphemy a little bit slower. Matt Psycho a 54.8 as well. He's also trying to look after that fuel, but he's down to a quarter of a tank, so he's got a quarter less than the guys ahead of him. Skyjacker's on half, but there's Jay, caught him up already, but Jay is just absolutely caning it. He's going for it. He's not playing this strategy game. He's just going to go all and out speed and hope that works out for him, I think. And it's doing okay for him. He does catch people up. He gets past them as they're fuel saving, but he loses time when he's trying to race these guys. Like, look at him behind Skyjacker. They've got similar fuel loads, these two. And Skyjacker maintaining ground ahead of Jay. Jay looking for a way by. Beautiful racing from these two at the moment. Skyjacker defending his role place, and Jay looking to get through. He's going up the inside of Sky, and that's it, he is through. So Jay moving up into 4th. Skyjacker using him for a tow buddy for the time being. Try and save a little extra fuel, sitting behind Jay. They're on similar fuel loads. Jay's one more pit stop down than Sky. So it's down to you out there to see what's best. Multiple pit stops, going faster, or just trying to take care of your fuel. So Katula in 6th, 1.5 seconds ahead of Uncle B Darren. Uncle B Darren chasing down the Spaniard at the moment. Similar fuel loads for these guys as well, so they'll be pitting at the same time. Koikap's already got up into 8th place after dropping to the back, as Jokas has pitted, Rido has pitted, and also Daz has pitted for the second time in this race. And we're coming up to 25 minutes, or just over 25 minutes in this race. Racer Brown, still one pit stop under his belt. He's really looking after that fuel beautifully, really, isn't he? Digital Blasphemy also looking after the fuel a lot better than Racer Brown. He's 11 seconds behind him, and he's 6.5 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho, who will be pitting at the end of this lap, it seems. And Jay will be wanting to get by, but Jay's already down to a quarter of a tank of fuel. Interesting stuff indeed. Marcio saying, go mates, VRC, the best. Oh, thank you. I know it's a bit of a mind-boggling race at the moment, but this is what it's about. So trying to do something a little bit different here, trying to level the field from the really fast guys to the just normal speed guys. And Racer Brown, though, absolutely dominant at the moment. Digital Blasphemy doing a cracking job in 2nd place. Matt Psycho be dropping into the pits after this corner from his 3rd place, and he's got Jay catching him up already. Jay is absolutely pounding it out there, and he really is going for it. So Jay crossing the line with a 53.5. Skyjacker looking after that fuel nicely as well. He's on a quarter of a tank of fuel. Car 99. The Monster Beetle doing a super job. Katula is now moved up ahead of Matt Psycho. Uncle B Darren also, but Katula probably be pitting very soon himself. Uncle B is not flashing just yet. And Matt Psycho in, then out ahead of Koi Carp. But these guys have pitted just behind them. Oh no, it doesn't look like Koi Carp's pitted yet. He's doing quite a good job. Jokers though has pitted, Daz pitted, and Rido all pitting on the same lap as each other. So Matt Psycho back out there in 7th place, full tank of fuel with 31 minutes to go. Well, nearly 32 minutes left of this race to go. Racer Brown is getting low on fuel now, as is Digital Blasphemy. Digital Blasphemy a little bit better than Racer Brown. Jay, similar fuel loads as well. So it's interesting. It really is interesting. I mean, do you fuel save or do you just pelt it like Jay? Because Jay's in 3rd with similar fuel loads of the guys ahead who have been looking after their fuel. Skyjacker in 4th place. Katula in 5th, but he's going to have to come in at the end of this lap. He's got Uncle B Darren also needing to pit at the end of this lap. And that'll put Matt Psycho back up at least into 5th place, with Skyjacker who will need to pit in the next lap or 2. Jay's back into the pits. He loves it. Look at him. He's just pelting it. He loves just burning through that fuel. Racer Brown again carrying on, doing what is needed to try and secure the win today. Digital Blasphemy looking after his fuel a little better than Racer Brown. He's lost 12 seconds on the leader, but it all adds up, I imagine. When did he pit? Lap 8. Racer Brown pitted on lap 8 also. But if he can gain a couple more laps. Uncle B came in. That's a surprise. Oh yeah, of course he did need to. And Katula. Koi Kart then moving up into 6th place. And he's got another lap or 2 in that car. Matt Psycho, loads of fuel, but Jay's managed to come in and get back out ahead of Matt Psycho. And will that entice Matt Psycho into thinking, oh, it's working for Jay, just doing multiple pit stops, or will he just stick it out there? If Jay keeps coming in, he's put more fuel in the car this time. He's had 3 stops in the first 30 minutes. He's sitting in 4th place, so that's interesting. I really did think that the fuel would make them slow down a little bit, but Jay's not bothering with that one bit. Binko saying Jay may be using the Jeremy Clarkson method. Power. He is. He's just powering on through that. He doesn't care. It's surprising me. He really is. I thought the pit stops would really ruin that method, but Jay is proving me very wrong. Pat saying I can normally keep up with pit stops, but I'm lost with all the strategies going on here. It's interesting. So Racer Brown's in, and this is his 2nd stop. Digital Blasphemy also in for his 2nd stop. Skyjacker's coming in for his 2nd. Jay's had 3 stops, and it looks like he might take the lead. I'm not sure. Matt Psycho has only stopped twice, and he's 3.4 seconds behind Jay. Racer Brown is out already onto the track, filled up and on his way, and so's Digital Blasphemy. So Jay, he's not gaining too much. Oh, I thought he'd lost the car there. He's not gaining too much on the leaders with this strategy. He's merely just keeping up with them. And Matt Psycho sitting just behind him on a similar fuel load, but Jay will pull away and then he'll have to come into pit again. Skyjacker's out in 5th place, full tank of fuel. He's 7.6 seconds behind Matt Psycho, but Matt Psycho's already down to 3/4 of a tank, with Skyjacker on a full tank. Katula in 6th place. He pitted a lap or 2 ago, ahead of Uncle B Darren, who's 2.3 seconds behind Katula. Jokus in 8th, less than half a tank of fuel. Koi Kart's finally coming to the pits. That was only his 2nd stop. No, 3rd. No, I think that 204 he had was an off on lap 11. So I think that's only his second stop of the race. And he's 51 seconds ahead of Rido. That's a surprise. I think when Rido goes across the line, it'll change. There you go. So Rido pitting recently. We've got Racer Brown out there, 11.9 seconds ahead of Digital Blasphemy. And it is like a game of chess. And I think come the end of the race, they'll just go for hell leather, as is Jay is for the whole of the race. It's fantastic stuff. It really is. I'm very impressed with Jay managing to get these many pit stops in and maintain position with these guys. And Matt Psycho. So by that account, they'll be trying to do 3 stops. Racer Brown, Digital Blasphemy, Matt Psycho and Skyjacker will be trying to do 3 stops. I mean, they've got 1 more stop to do. Whereas Jay, he's already done 3 stops, and he's probably got 2 more stops to do. So, and with losing 20 odd seconds, I mean, that last pit stop, it was nearly 30 seconds he lost. But he's keeping it into the 52s, 53s, Digital Blasphemy, doing 54s and 53s, so it's very impressive, Jay. He did 52.8 his last time around. He's catching up Digital Blasphemy. He's only a second behind him. And it's a very interesting strategy that he's running, while the other guys eking that fuel out, driving quite smooth, probably short shifting. I don't know if anyone's leaning their engine out. They have that opportunity to do that in the car. 54.3 from Matt Psycho. He's maintaining a good pace ahead of Skyjacker at the moment, but he's down to half a tank of fuel, with Skyjacker being on 3/4 of a tank of fuel, the same as the leaders. So I think Matt Psycho's kind of gone for that middle ground. Jay's gone for all-out pace, and Matt Psycho's gone for sort of kind of saving, but trying to go fast at the same time. Cthulhu, 15.3 seconds behind Skyjacker. He's got a good amount of fuel on board. Uncle B Darren, 3.7 seconds behind him. Jokus in 8th place. Daz in 9th. 10th for Koi Carp, who's just recently pitted. And next to Daz, he's got plenty more fuel than Daz at the moment. Rido in 11th. He was only a few seconds behind Koi. He must have had another off. Oh, he's been into pit, sorry. So Rido again pitting. He must be screaming that car out. Yeah, you can see he's letting that blue flash. He doesn't want to really let that blue rev limiter flash too much, and he wants to brake. He seems to be using the gears to brake a little bit, and that burns fuel, as Binko pointed out earlier. Brake to slow the car down before you downshift. Mama Sai saying this is interesting. It is intriguing me also. So Racer Brown, he's just done the fastest lap, so he's pushing now. He's decided this is the moment to push on. He's now 14 seconds ahead of Digital Blasphemy. Jay's getting ever closer to Digital Blasphemy. Is he going to make Digital Blasphemy start pushing, or is Digital Blasphemy sticking to the plan? We'll be seeing that Racer Brown's pulling away from him, and he's got Jay catching him up at a rate of knots, on board with a JOO pace as he catches up Digital Blasphemy, trying to find a way by the Beetle, the VDUB bug. They come around the final corner. Digital Blasphemy holding position. But Jay doing a 53.5 there, so he has backed off a little bit to try and save a little bit of fuel. He's kind of in no man's land, Jay, at the moment. If he pits, he knows he's going to drop behind Psycho and Skyjacker and perhaps Cthulhu. getting past these guys does cost time, as you can see. So maybe he's decided to just sit in behind Digital Blasphemy for a lap or two to save fuel. Binko saying, in my opinion, short shifting, coasting and not engine braking can be just as effective and faster pace wise than changing the fuel mix. There you go. So you do have better control over it. The engines do feel a bit sort of dull when you change the engine mix, the fuel mix. So yes, it looks to me like Jay is now just deciding to sit behind Digital Blasphemy for a lap or two, fuel save a little bit. He's just over a quarter of a tank with Digital Blasphemy on half a tank, Racer Brown on half a tank. Matt Psycho's 10 seconds behind him on similar fuel. Skyjacker starting to catch Matt Psycho up on half a tank. Cthulhu in 6th, he's on half a tank of fuel. He's 15 seconds behind Skyjacker. Keeping consistent times there. He's short shifting, you can see. It's only getting about halfway up the revs when he changed. When he brakes, see, he brakes, he's not letting that car scream. He's braking the car, changing the gears. Very early, look, very early is Cthulhu changing those gears. He's really is looking after his fuel quite nicely. He's pulled away from Uncle B. So they've all got their own sort of styles of driving. Uncle B, he's not letting the car go too high up there. Also, again, braking the car with the actual brakes, not the gears. A little blue flash there and a little blue flash there. So, but he might be pushing on now to try and catch up with Cthulhu in 6th. We've got 20 minutes left of this race, and it's all very interesting stuff. I must say, I'm intrigued. I'm commentating on it, and I'm trying to fathom my head around it. It looks like Jay is now starting to fuel save. It looks like he's not pushing hell for leather. He's 17 seconds behind, and I think he wants to pit at the same time as the guys ahead of him, because he knows that'll be their last pit, and he wants to start racing them. Racer Brown, he's got half a tank of fuel left. He's in the 52s now. Racer Brown's really starting to get pace out of that car without actually burning fuel. Digital Blasphemy, a 54 and a late 53, his last 2 laps. So he's not getting the same sort of pace as Racer Brown. He has got a little bit more fuel on board. I think Jay's now using Digital as a bit of a buffer. He's trying to save fuel in the slipstream of the car ahead. Matt Psycho is only 11 seconds behind those guys. He did a 55.2 his last time around. He's trying to look after his fuel. He only wants one more pit stop. And Skyjacker has caught him up quite a lot. He's been doing 54s, late 53s. He's got a lot more fuel on board than Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho's less than a quarter of a tank left, with Skyjacker half a tank, just under half a tank. He's 16 seconds ahead of Cthulhu. You can see they've had to change their driving style from the usual sprint, just screaming the car out, getting late onto the gears, late onto the brakes. It's a totally different style of driving, this endurance lark. But they're doing a very good job. Racer Brown seems to be doing the best at the moment of it. He's just coming up to a quarter of a tank of fuel, with just coming nearly 18 minutes left of racing. He's in the 52s. He really is finding his feet on this Beetle. Digital Blasphemy, he's got a few laps more fuel than Racer Brown. And Jay is really... Oh, Jay's going to have to pit, though. He's been sitting behind Digital Blasphemy for a couple of laps now, in the 53s, 54s, trying to eke that fuel out. Maybe he's sussed in the... See, I thought he was just going to keep on going for it, but maybe this second half of the race, he's decided too many pit stops is costing him too much time and wants to stay out there with the pack. Matt Psycho, he's He's 30 seconds off of the lead, 12 seconds off of Jay. He's going to have to pit as well, with a Skyjacker on a quarter of a tank of fuel. He's catching up Matt Psycho now. Matt Psycho's probably backing off to try and get to the end of this lap. Jay hasn't gone in. Oh yes, he has, sorry. I was looking at the map, I didn't think he'd gone in. So Jay has pitted. Matt Psycho will pit. Skyjacker, I assume, is going to stay out there for another lap or two. He's 33 seconds off of Racer Brown. I can't believe the lap times Racer Brown's managing to get. I can't believe he's getting 52.8s. He must be coasting. He's just really got great car management at the moment. Racer Brown really has found, he's only a reserve. I think he might not be even in it for the whole championship. He stepped in for Dutch, but he's really doing a super job. Digital Blasphemy in second place. He's doing a great job, but he is doing the lap times you'd expect. He's late 53s, 54s, same as Skyjacker. And JOO is back out. He pitted. He's back out, but Matt Psycho's dropped right behind. Now imagine Cthulhu will be pitting in the next lap or so. Uncle B Darren also pitting in the next lap or so. So that'll put Matt Psycho back up into that 5th place. But is that it now? Is Matt Psycho just going to absolutely wrang it? Is he going to wring everything out of this car to try and get himself ahead of Skyjacker? I mean, he was ahead of Skyjacker, wasn't he? But I mean... And there is Koi Carp in 8th place. He's 20 seconds behind Matt Psycho. He's got a quarter of a tank of fuel, 10 seconds on Jokus, who's got a lot more fuel on than Koi Carp. Daz, he's also got half a tank of fuel. And Rido in 11th. 20 seconds behind those guys. He's going into the pits, it looks like. Yep, he's gone into the pits. And Racer Brown then. I really am amazed at Racer Brown with his 52s, late 52s, and managing to save that fuel at the same time. Digital Blasphemy though, still a lot more fuel on board than Racer Brown. He can go for a few more laps, I believe. Racer Brown will be pitting in the next lap or so. Skyjacker, similar fuel to Digital Blasphemy. 16 seconds behind. Cthulhu's gone in. Uncle B will be coming in also. So Matt Psycho will be moving up into 5th place. He's 19 seconds behind Jay. Oh, there's a yellow flag. Oh, it's none of these guys. I can't see. They must have got back. Oh, it must have been Rido. Rido having a bit of an issue as he come out of the pits. Racer Brown now, his fuel is flashing. He'll be coming in. Will it be his final pit stop? And Digital Blasphemy's fuel also flashing, as is Skyjacker's. Jay, he's 45 seconds off the lead, 10 seconds off of Skyjacker, and 26 seconds off of Digital Blasphemy. Can Jay jump up into 2nd place? He's got 3/4 of a tank of fuel. Interesting stuff. So Racer Brown's in. We assume Digital Blasphemy is going to come in also, as is Skyjacker. Jay's got 3/4 of a tank of fuel on. He's 20 seconds ahead of Matt Psycho, who's nearly got a full tank. Now, Matt Psycho, let's have a look at his pit times. Lap times, sorry, not pit. I'm getting so obsessed with the pits, aren't I? Unbelievable stuff. So, Skyjacker making his way around the final corner to come into the pits. And Jay, he's burning through that fuel. I think he's going to have to make another pit stop again. We'll see what sort of time. He's done his out lap, so this is his true time. Coming around that final corner. He's jumped up into 2nd place so far. It looks like he's just done the fastest. Yeah, he's going for it. He's absolutely going for it. He's not hanging around no more. He's just absolutely pelting it. Racer Brown back out with... But he's found a way of getting 52s. late 52s without burning too much fuel. Jay's absolutely pelting it, but his fuel will not last that way. Digital Blasphemy back out. He's only 6.5 seconds behind Jay, and if he goes for a gentle canter, he can get that second place back. So I think Jay will have to go back in the pits. Mad Psycho just ahead of Skyjacker. This is very tight battling between these two. Mad Psycho did a 55.5 last time around, so he is still trying to look after his fuel. Skyjacker's trying to get the position up from him, goes around him. He's on the outside though. Mad Psycho could get back up the inside of Skyjacker, and this is the problem. Can they race too much? Can they afford to race too much? Can Mad Psycho? Really, he's only got 3/4 of a tank of fuel, with Skyjacker on a full tank. And Skyjacker up and into 4th place. Mad Psycho down into 5th. Cthulhu holding on to that 6th place ahead of Uncle B. Uncle B, he's got quite a lot of space around him. 10 seconds behind Cthulhu. Cthulhu's on 3/4 of a tank. Uncle B's just over 3/4. Daz is low on fuel. And Koi has got a lot of fuel, so Daz will have to pit. And I think a couple of these guys are going to have to question a little bit of how they're going to save fuel in the upcoming races in this championship, and have a look at Racer Brown's tactics, really, because he's done a 52.4. Well, that was an outlap, so it doesn't count. But yeah, Racer Brown has really found a way. And a 52.7 from Jay that last time around. We've got 10 minutes, just coming up to 10 minutes left of racing. This 1 hour race, this 1 hour racing chess game that we've played, and it's starting to come to a head. Digital Blast for me in 3rd place, 16 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. They've got the same fuel on, so I don't think there's anything Skyjacker can do about that deficit there between him and Digi. I think that's it now. I think he's just got to try and concentrate on staying ahead of Mad Psycho. Mad Psycho, though, I don't know if he's got the fuel to come and attack Skyjacker. The only thing I can think of, if Mad Psycho really wanted to, is possibly a splash and dash, just to top up on fuel and then absolutely do some qualifying lap times. But even then, it's a risk. Daz is into the pits, which will give Koikarp the position. Koikarp moving up into 8th place there, just behind Uncle B. And Jokus is catching him up. Jokus, he's just pitted. He's got just over 3/4 of a tank of fuel. Same fuel as Koikarp. Koikarp, well, they've both just done outlaps, but Jokus' outlap was a bit quicker than Koi's. And Racer Brown 16.3 seconds, but he's just done the fastest lap of the race, a 51.8. And Jay sticking to the 52.7. What's he going to do this time? He's into the 53s now. He's possibly thinking he might have to look after his fuel. Digital Blasphemy closing up on him with a 52.7. Digital Blasphemy's got fuel to burn. Coming into like 9 minutes left of racing, and Jay might be in trouble here. Jay might not have enough fuel to be able to defend from Digital Blasphemy. He might be all right from Skyjacker. Skyjacker doing a 53.5. Matt Psycho a 54.9. So Matt Psycho looking after his fuel. Cthulhu only 13 seconds, but he's got similar fuel as Matt Psycho. In the chat, Rido said I needed the toilet too bad. So I think we've lost Rido. Rido's gone into the pits to go to the loo. So a Racer Brown then 16.8 seconds ahead of Jay, and now Racer Brown starting to push his Beetle all the way to the end. Does he have the fuel? He's on half a tank of fuel. Jay just on a quarter of a tank of fuel. Digital Blasphemy 3/4 of a tank of fuel. He's 23 seconds behind the leader and 6.6 seconds behind Jay. Skyjacker also on 3/4 of a tank of fuel, but he's 18 seconds behind Digital Blasphemy. Matt Psycho in 5th. He's on half a tank of fuel. He did a 54.9 his last time around. And Catula's pushing now, I think. He seems to be catching up, Matt Psycho. He was 16 seconds behind him before the last round of pit stops. But is half a tank of fuel enough to get to the end? I think it might be. Same as Racer Brown. And I imagine Racer Brown did his calculations. He's just done a 53.1 though. I think that was just to make sure. Jay's having to back right off with a 53.6. Digital Blasphemy though. He's got plenty of fuel on board. He did a 53.5 also that last time around. Interesting stuff. Skyjacker in fourth. He's 18 seconds behind Digital Blasphemy. Did a 53.8 his last time around. A 55.5 from Matt Psycho. Half a tank of fuel. It's just a little bit less than Skyjacker's. So possibly he might be saving now so he can attack in a lap or two. It's interesting. 6th place for Cthulhu. I think there's no one's going to catch up Cthulhu at this point. Uncle B Darren in 7th. Koikarp in 8th, but Koikarp might be in a bit of trouble because Jokus, similar fuel levels as Koi, is pushing on. He did a 54.2 his last time around. Koikarp doing a 55.3. So Jokus might fancy that 8th place. The Rockstar Beetle hunting down Koikarp's VRC livery. Koikarp doing a 55.2. 54.1 from Jokus. Jokus is really starting to drop the hammer now. He's pushing on. He fancies that position. He's got it down to 7/10. And yeah, Koikarp, he might have to do some defending before the end of this race. He's looked after his fuel very nicely as Koikarp. Jay is back into the pits, so that is the answer. Jay didn't have enough to get to the end of the race. That gives Digital Blasphemy. Can Matt Psycho get back ahead of him? Although Jay will be pushing with only 5 minutes left of racing to go. My word, this is interesting stuff. Skyjacker in the final corner. Jay might be out before he comes round. Jay's topping up with fuel. There goes Skyjacker onto the straight. Matt Psycho's not too far behind. Jay's onto the track again. He's ahead of Skyjacker. Skyjacker couldn't quite catch Jay there. Jay has gone on to half a tank of fuel, so similar fuel loads for these guys in the last 4 minutes of racing, 5 minutes of racing. Racer Brown, 52.9 from him last time around. He's pulled even further away from Digital Blasphemy. Digital Blasphemy at 54.5. He still seems to be saving fuel with only 4.5 minutes left of racing to go. And Racer Brown is absolutely stunning. His fuel management and speed together have been amazing, immense in this race. He has done everything correctly. Digital Blasphemy, his pace and fuel management has also been extremely good. Jay has just said to hell with it. He's pushed like hell and pitted a fair whack of times in this race. And it looks like he's going to bag himself a podium from that strategy. Skyjacker though, only 4 seconds behind. And Matt Psycho, he's trying to look after that fuel. Matt Psycho might be in trouble with that fuel. Cthulhu catching him up every lap. It was 16 seconds. The last we saw it was 12 seconds. Now it's 10 seconds. But Cthulhu on similar fuel loads as Matt Psycho. It's going to be a struggle for him. Uncle B is 17.8 seconds adrift of Cthulhu in 7th. And he's 27 seconds ahead of Koikarp. Koikarp, though, under threat from Jokus. 3 minutes left of racing. This is very tight here. Daz in 10th place. Arido is a lap or so down because he needed a quick wee-wee. And Racer Brown, though, seems to have done the business today in the first round of the VDUB Bug Enduro Cup. What an intriguing game of chess we have witnessed over the last 60 minutes. And these guys will be going away from this thinking very much how to attack these racers? Do they go the route of a JOO pace, just going for hell for leather and making the pit stops work for them? And Jay's done what, 4, possibly 5 pit stops today? Skyjacker 6.5 seconds. He's done a 55.1 his last time around. I think some of these guys are still trying to look after that fuel. Katula though now, I don't think he can attack that time between him and Matt Psycho anymore. I don't think his fuel will allow it. We've got 2 minutes left of racing now. 2 minutes left of the 60 minutes racing we've had. Racer Brown crossing the line at 53.8. Digital Blasphemy some 27 seconds behind him. He's 11 seconds ahead of Jay. It's too much to ask for Jay to try and catch up Digital Blasphemy, but he looks good for that podium position. So the strategy worked for Jay. I was very surprised. I thought the pit stops would absolutely kill that strategy off, but Jay has done an absolutely blinding job. 1.5 minutes left of racing as Jay makes his way around. It's surely going to be his final lap of the race, with 7 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. And some of these guys have still got quite a bit of fuel left to say that we're into the last lap. Matt Psycho definitely going to make it. Pat saying, are we giving out a pit stop as well? There's been a few today. Yes, we should take points off for pit stops. And Katula then crossing the line, and I think he's having to fuel save a little bit now. He's not catching up Psycho as much. But what an intriguing race. Racer Brown's fuel is starting to flash. Digital Blasphemy at 28 seconds is a big push though for him to catch at the end. JOO, he's got plenty of fuel though. It's 9 seconds between him and Digital Blasphemy. But with only 20 seconds left on the clock, it's just going to be too much for Jay to try and catch up Digital Blasphemy. Skyjacker in 4th, Matt Psycho in 5th, Katula 6th, Uncle B Darren in 7th. There is Koikart crossing the line to start his final lap. He's still got Jokers hunting him down, but Jokers is really low on fuel. Daz in 9th, and Racer Brown's finished. Sorry, I missed it. There you go, Racer Brown, perfect. In 1st place, well done. And here comes a Digital Blasphemy to grab 2nd place in this championship. And Racer Brown's got the fastest lap as well, and I believe he had pole position. So he comes away from this round with full points. Digital Blasphemy comes across the line in 2nd spot. And what a super race Digital Blasphemy had. JOO pace really did the unbelievable with keeping that pace going and the pit stops, and he finishes in 3rd. Take a boo, my son. Next up we have a Skyjacker coming towards the line in 4th spot. And a cracking race there from Skyjacker. Matt Psycho next in 5th. I can't believe he made that fuel last stint, but he managed to do it and grabs himself a 5th place to boot. Katula in 6th place. Not a bad race from Katula at all. We saw him falling off the road early doors, and he's come back to finish in 6th for now. 7th place for Uncle B Darren. Look at them, got their fuel perfect. Called it absolutely just right, some of these guys. Just finishing with just a little bit left in the tank. And there he goes, Uncle B Darren finishing in 7th spot. Koikart coming home after a long break. He's got quite a bit of fuel left. He could have... but oh, Jokus ran out of fuel, but luckily Daz had already crossed the line. So Koikart in the end holds on to that 8th place. It looked risky. Jokus was pushing close behind, but Koikart in the end, his first race back for nearly a year and a half, I think, is back in the game in 8th place. Cracking stuff from Koikart. Jokus having to crawl home. I think the timer might run out before he gets there. Daz finished in 10th, and Rido got 11th in the end. And Jokus coming home in 9th, if the timer allows it. But it's this man today that looked after the fuel and kept quite a good pace going on. And in the chat, Racer Brown saying the car is really nice to drive, a bit like the Mitzi Evo, and I do like that car. Racer Brown also says congratulations to Digital and Jay. Mama Sight saying well done, RB. Well done, guys. Thank you, Thingy. Somewhat different. Yes, it was an interesting race. There comes Jokus, and is it the timer's only got 20 seconds on? I don't know if he's going to make the line. Oh, poor Jokus. Just one lap of fuel he needed left in that car. But he was pushing to try and catch Koikarp up at the end of the race. 4, 3, 2, 1. And that is your final stand-ins. And we get to see Racer Brown. Does he get an award? Yeah, he gets a trophy. Well done, Racer Brown. I can't believe it. He got pole position, fastest lap, and the race win, the treble. Fantastic stuff. Before we go to the race results, let me just save the replay. Are you sure to save the replay? Yes. Give it a quick share if you don't mind, guys. It'll only take 2 minutes. VRC. And dub there. And, I don't know, VW. What the hell? Oh, you have to do something like that? Oh, God. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Sorry, guys. It's just because I'll have to do it later and I'd forget. And it's just in case people want to watch it and they don't save it themselves. VDUB, okay. Oh, now we've got to wait for it. Possibly not a great idea on the stream. I won't do that again. Sorry. Look at that, counting up. 2 seconds, 2%. So in the chat, Racer Brown saying thank you, Mama Sykes, and thank you, Thingy. Racer Brown with a smiley face. And yeah, that was the wrong thing to do. Oh, no, I'll cancel it. I'll cancel it. I'll do it later. It still lets me save it, though, doesn't it? Okay. So I'll quickly go to the race results, and we'll wrap it up. Sorry. There is Racer Brown. Took the race win in the first round. Will he be back for round 2? He'll be begging for someone to give him their place, because this is looking like a strong championship for him. Digital Blasphemy in second place. JOO pace with a very interesting strategy indeed, but it got him a podium in the end. So the other guys out there might be thinking, well, screw it, I'm just going to go full whack and do a lot of pit stops. We'll see. Finished in third. Skyjacker in fourth. Matt Psycho in fifth. Katula finishes in sixth. Uncle B Darren in seventh. Koikarp in eighth. Jokus in ninth. Daz finished in 10th. And Rido coming home in 11th place. Racer Brown got your fastest lap with a 151.826 on lap 26. Well, that was a little bit interesting. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll see. We'll see. Next round, we're going to be racing around, I think it's another Italian track. Give me 2 seconds. Round 2 will be at Sardinia, Road Track A. So, interesting stuff. And I will catch you next time. Join us on Tuesday evening for the Super GTs. I think that's round 8. It's getting close to the end there. Can anyone beat Anton Poika? That is the question. Then on Thursday, we're live back here on YouTube with the GTMC. And that is heating up to a lovely little championship between Homesick Alien, Skyjacker, and Liam Anfield. Keep a track of that right here. And then Friday, we'll be back on with the McGann trophies in support of the Super Formula season. And we've had a different winner at every race so far. So that is one to keep an eye out for. I was your broadcaster and your commentator, Stan Dupp. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace and love. Peace and love.